Welcome, Reds, to the 100% United pod. I'm your host, TC. Back alongside me today is your co-host, Ben. How are you feeling after that weekend, pal?
Hello, mate. Yes, I'm good. I'm still on a high, thanks to Mr. Marcus Rashford. And we spoke to me a few weeks ago about the Old United making or breaking your weekend, and I think it was definitely a make it this weekend, wasn't it?
It was. He might not be able to make himself smile, but he can certainly still make us smile.
Oh, absolutely. There was a few smiles in there, a few sneaking out.
Not quite big enough for if you scored a 93rd minute winner at Old Trafford. I mean, I think my face might turn inside out.
Yeah, well, that's every weekend with you, but yeah.
On today's show, we will reflect on that last gasp Fergie time winner at Old Trafford in front of the Stretford End, 1-0 winners against West Ham. Not just a big win in terms of the timing of it, but also in terms of the standing of the teams, the different teams going into the match. West Ham obviously started the game in fourth. We've now replaced them in that position. There were so many things going into this game, of course. West Ham are in the positions that we should be occupying. They've got our old manager. There's plenty going on, of course, underneath the main story. But the main story, Ben, is we got it done. We got that late goal. Marcus Rashford again. That is what Manchester United is all about. I'm sure, like me, on Saturday night, you were feeling pretty blooming happy, pal.
Oh, absolutely, mate. And as you were saying there, the sort of the build-up to the game, it was a massive game. And people can sort of laugh and joke and say it's only West Ham and all that. But looking at the table, looking at where both sides are at the minute, even looking at West Ham, you know, the players have got. Jared Bowen was, you could say, the informed player in the league at the minute, like up until the game. So it was a huge game for us. And to get the win, and in the fashion it was, I mean, you saw the scenes on the pitch. You saw, obviously, the celebrations after the final whistle, the players coming off the pitch, giving the Stretford and the whole of Old Trafford a round of applause. And that's what it means, isn't it? These big games, these big wins, and the momentum that it breeds. I've got a little break now, haven't we? But just the good feeling that it'll spread around the squad, the fact that it's Marcus Rashford, who, I'm not saying we called it, but we were saying he absolutely... He needs a goal. He needs a bit of an injection of life to get his form back, and they don't come much bigger than that, do they? A last minute, last gasp winner.
Yeah, and again, you would say that it's Ralf. You know, he got his balls out, didn't he, by bringing Ronaldo off against Brentford? He replaced him with Rashford, right? If my memory serves me rightly, Rashford got the goal, and that set Rashford off into this new form, of course, where he's got a goal on in the week. He probably doesn't score today if he doesn't score at Brentford. So, you know, again, those decisions going our way, whether it's by design or by luck, I couldn't give a toss.
No, and I mean, Ralf making big decisions, he's done it in quite a strategic way as well, hasn't he? Because he's not coming straight away and made huge decisions from the first match. You know, we saw that continuation of the same lineup, wasn't it? The first game he came in. Yeah. And I know he's tinkered with formations to try and find a different way, but he's done it in quite a good way, really. You can see the players that he's managed across the squad, even with the likes of Maguire, you know, taking him out, not bringing him straight back in. And I think if it wasn't for the unfortunate of Lindelof's family having the break in, I think Maguire might have been on the bench again at the weekend. But it turns out he comes back in, has a really good game, actually. And it looks like the Maguire, the sort of the start of last season, or definitely the midway of last season, the way he was on sort of his better form. And players like that, you see Dalot coming, Tellez coming in, and there seems to be a bit of a balance about the team at the minute. And I just think he's done certain decisions. Like I said, it's the ballsy decisions. They're not his decisions. And I think when there's a lot of, you know, we spoke about the reports around the club where any little decision, like with Ronaldo coming off and making a scene, everyone wants to make a huge deal out of it. But the way he speaks about it in press conference, you can imagine the way he relays the information to his players, whether that's individually or as a team. He seems to have the handle on it, doesn't it? And I know this is easy to say after a last minute winner than it would have been if it had been a 0-0 draw, but the way he's making decisions, he's got a bit of weight behind him, but also he's not doing it all at once. He's trying to manage the squad as it is.
Yeah, well, that's what we chatted about, wasn't it? A few weeks ago, Ben, I think we were chatting away about the fact that we were talking about where's the press gone? Yeah. And I think we were touching on the fact that it makes sense to do things step by step. And even after the game on Saturday, I think Ralf said that he's still not happy about our use of the ball in possession. And he actually said that's the next step So I think he is doing it in steps. I think we were possibly right when we flagged that up. And look, we will go more into Ralf and the things that he's doing right and maybe the things he could do better. But you did just touch there on Lindelof, Victor Lindelof, and his situation. That's definitely worth mentioning at the top of the show. I mean, God alive, absolutely awful. It's and I thought it was a Scouse thing, right? It was always the Scousers used to get robbed, didn't they, when they were away in Europe and whatnot. But now we've had a few United players now, haven't we? Of course, the that little snake who's in Paris now. But yeah, terrifying, horrible thing to happen, and really, it's crazy that you are that wealthy and you're going away and leaving your house unattended when you know about the history of footballers. Reece James this season as well, I think, right? He got robbed, took a Champions League medal as well, I think.
Yeah, terrible, really, isn't it? And you see that obviously the player safety and stuff is a huge concern when these things happen. And you can imagine, look, it's players that are earning millions of pounds and have a very privileged lifestyle. But when you've got a wife and kids in the house, and often it's when the player is out or playing that we see these break-ins happen, isn't it? It's cowardice, of course it is. But I think if we bring it back to Ralf a little bit and say that just the way that he handles these situations, because it's obviously that it's easy to see what the right thing is to do to give the player time and absolutely have those private conversations. But it's something that you hear Fergie talk a lot about, especially sort of post-career, post-managerial career, about the times when he felt it was important to have a real personal connection with the players. I think I remember in the interview he did when he was with Ronaldo on the official club channels not that long ago, and he was talking about when Ronaldo needed time off. I think it was for the passing of his father, wasn't it?
It was when his father got ill.
Yeah, and he just said that was one of the most important decisions he made, just to say, look, like we can do without you for next week. The most important thing is your family and stuff. And I think you can just imagine being a player and having that manager when obviously you realise you're in, like, I mean, Ronaldo's case back then, but even Lindelof now is still an integral part of the team. And you think when the manager's coming to you and just giving you that personal touch, obviously it's obvious what the right thing is to do. But we saw it with Sancho, wasn't it, missing the other week for a funeral as well. And I think it's a personal side of football that we don't see, but is one that definitely deserves a shout out as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think actually, Ben, that I remember when Ronaldo went away, and actually, we couldn't do without him at that time. It was, it was not a situation where we really could do without him. He was growing into one of the leaders of that team, but Fergie knew what was more important and knew as well what was the way to get the most out of this kid, and that the kid owes you too. So it was a situation where, I remember at the time he got taken out of the team. But as you say, Fergie got paid back for that tenfold, because then he's still, Ronaldo's my boy, and Ronaldo says he's my football dad. So 100%, Ben. I think absolutely this personal aspect, and it's one thing that sometimes as fans you can overlook. People talk about why United so good in the first half and sorry. Dear me, don't quote me on that. So bad in the first half and so good in the second sometimes. Because they're humans, Ben, right? And basically they're humans who have been through a lot of, in terms of football, traumatic experiences, and basically we need to de-learn all that stuff. So we still have that stuff in our systems. It's going to be step by step, but the human aspect is so important, Ben, as you say.
Oh, it is massively, and you're right. As fans, if you see a player misplace a pass or go into a bad run of form, you don't necessarily think about what's going on in their personal life. And I'm not saying we always have to take that in account when we're assessing the performances. But you're right. There's a whole life around it. But the job of the manager to manage these people, to manage the group, and you can just imagine, because look, we've all had times in our lives where we've probably gone through bad times, and you can remember not necessarily what people say to you, but how people made you feel if they put an arm around you, if they've said the right thing, and giving you a bit of space, whether it's time off work, whether it's just a chat or anything like that. And I think you can just imagine what that does to you, because then once the bad time, I'm not saying it goes away, but when the good times come again, when the situation gets sorted out, if it can, in this case in Lindelof's, then the player's going to have that stronger connection with the manager, with the team, because he knows he feels valued as a person as well as a player. And look, it's all part of being a manager, isn't it? Managing people and managing their emotions and their lives as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the whole, it's every aspect, isn't it? And we are such a ginormous club. Sometimes that can get lost, but yeah, the brains and the hearts need to be in the right place, and that is absolutely critical. So yeah, I hope everything's all right with Lindelof and the family and stuff. That's shocking stuff, of course. I think he went. I think well, his missus was back in Sweden. I know that. So I think he went back to Sweden as well because he said he doesn't want to leave them on their own. So yeah, hopefully that's okay. We've now got a 2 week break anyway, so it's pretty much perfect timing for Lindelof. He can sort that out with the family. His wife seems quite a big character anyway, so I'm sure they'll be okay. But yeah, as you say, so that had a big effect. It looked like Harry Maguire had actually lost his position, didn't it, in the side? But because of that, we had De Gea in goal, we had Delo and Tellez still at fullback, and then we had Harry Maguire alongside Rafael Varane in the middle. And Maguire did take the skipper's armband back as well.
Yeah, an interesting little point that, isn't it? Because we were sort of contesting, really, weren't we? Whether not only did he deserve it, but whether he would keep it. Obviously, Bruno having it ahead of Ronaldo last game, with both of them starting, and now it's clear that Maguire is still the club captain when he's in.
You never know. You never know, do you, Ben? You never know. Maybe it was destined for Ronaldo, and that little strop on the bench cost him it. No, look, I think with this decision, I can see the benefits of both sides.
Yeah,
you don't want to kill Maguire, right? You don't want to totally destroy an 80 million quid buy. You don't want to totally wreck them. So it makes sense to, and his reaction was superb. His reaction was absolutely superb. I mean, let's get stuck in. We got in midfield, we had McTominay, Fred, and Bruno, and then we had Ronaldo. Elanga again kept his place. What do you think of that?
Fantastic, mate. I think he fully deserved, and I think it just shows you coming the team, created a bit of a spark, and played well. He's got a goal, and he's back in the starting lineup. I love to see it.
Yeah, Ben, and we've talked about this before. We talked about the fact that other people coming into the team does not only give them a chance, but it also puts a rocket up the back end of the person they've replaced. Look at Harry Maguire at the moment. He's been Tellez, doesn't he? Basically, that's what's happened there. He's been just like Luke Shaw last season. Tellez came in, and Luke Shaw suddenly was like, "Okay, well, I've got to blooming perform to the top of my potential here." Same thing's happened to Harry Maguire. Once you get complacent, once it's easy, once your position is yours, you have to be a big player to still put in 100% and still perform. You know, your Roy Keanes, your Brian Robsons. Yeah, first name on the team sheet and first name on the performers list as well. It's not quite the same with our current crop. So yeah, great to see back in and a very, very strong performance from him.
Yeah, it was very strong, and he's got that intent. He's got the desire to prove his worth in this team and keep his spot, and that's what you want to see, isn't it? You want to see players like that coming in, taking the chances, and like you say, that it not only gives a boost to players in the starting lineup that are playing with him, but obviously the players that he's replacing, it gives them a rocket up the backside to try and displace him again. So that's what you want. You want competition for places, and look, when it comes through our own youth academy and comes from players like that, then that's even better for us, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what? It's fun for us as well, isn't it? It's fun to watch them. It's fun, seeing them play at youth level. You always wonder whether they can do it at the top level. Some look amazing at youth level, never do it at top level. Some look quite good at youth and then just blow up at top level. So it's always good to see that sort of transformation. His attitude has always been top-notch, Elanga. He's got that gas. When you've got pace, it always gives you a chance to make a mistake or two, but still get away with it at the top level. And look, Ben, it's 4 in a row now for the academy in terms of goals.
Yeah, it's not a bad going, is it?
Yeah, we're doing all right. Yeah, we're doing all right. Look, Mason Greenwood took up the last position on the field, and Bruno Mason broke away on the 4th minute. And then, to be honest, the most striking moment of the match in that first 10 minutes, I'd say, probably was when Bowen had a go at Harry Maguire, and Maguire was more than equal to, as you say, definitely one of the informed players in the team, in the league, possibly the informed player in the league.
Yeah, absolutely. Jarrod Bowen he's on fire right now for West Ham, and he is that danger man when you're looking at their lineup. He's the one that can cause issues, and that's where Maguire, from even a couple of months ago, you'd say if that situation, it's panic stations, isn't it? You're thinking, yes. Oh no, it's Bowen's got the pace on him, he's got the run on him, but yeah. I thought that one especially, in just the opening minutes, he just seems to have a bit more assurance. And look, this is the Maguire that we want to see. I think he's got a lot of criticism. I think a lot of it's been valid this season because he's been atrocious the first half of the season. But
Yeah.
it's easy to forget, isn't it? I mean, even this time last year, he was superb for us up until he got the injury.
In the Euros, mate.
Yeah, up until he got the injury, and then he got the injury, and then he came back in the Euros, and he's straight back in, first choice for England. So it's easy to forget sometimes when players go through bad form. And I think, look, it's right. He gets criticised when he has bad form, but I think he's one of those players that I think a little bit of the thread about him in terms of when he has a bad one, it's absolutely all pile on Maguire. Sometimes I feel.
Yeah, I don't know why either. I think they're all right, aren't they, Maguire and Fred? I mean, sometimes they might be crap, but they seem like nice guys. They're not like really hateable, are they? I find it bizarre when people go like over the top with Maguire. Of course, say all about their mistakes, say all about their deficiencies, no problems at all. But yeah, sometimes it's just a bit from our own fans, from other fans, they do what they want. But from our fans, I think it's a bit weird sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know if it's this. I mean, just sort of when you think about games and Twitter and how that has an impact on players and games at the minute, and you see a 5-second clip, a minute montage of mistakes, and suddenly he's the worst player in the world. I think that might feed into it a little bit. But I think Maguire's had a bad first half of the season. I think he's been really poor, but I think I think the way he's coming in now, maybe it's that he needed a bit of a break to come back and find his feet again.
Well, that was the suggestion, wasn't it? We said take him out the team, drop him, take the captain's armband off him, give it to someone else, and then when he comes back in, then don't give him the band back, right? So Ralf went for it. He gave the band back, which is no problems. Like I say, I don't know the inner workings of the club. I'm just guessing from the outside. I was saying what I felt. If he thinks Maguire's the man to go forward, absolutely 100% behind that. And also, it has to be said, Ben, if we were lining up with Harry Maguire and Tellez on that left-hand side against, as you say, Bowen, and then Antonio, a strong, fast goal scorer right in the middle, you would have been absolutely bricking it, wouldn't you, going into that match? Maybe you were anyway, but unjustifiably, because actually we looked, I mean, what do they have? One shot on goal?
Yeah, you're right. It was I mean, you can say that as a recipe for disaster, even a few months ago, or potential. But yeah, you're right. I think both teams were a little bit blunt when it came to creating like proper goal scoring opportunities. But you've got to credit defence where it's due.
Exactly, and I am saying that we're praising the defenders, but you also have to praise the shape of the team because that midfield, it looked like a midfield.
Yeah.
It's looking like a midfield again, Ben. There aren't holes everywhere. There aren't gaps everywhere. They're actually close together. Bruno is not like on the 6-yard box and McFred are in our own half. It's actually a midfield now. So no surprise at all that suddenly the fullbacks don't look so isolated. Suddenly the centre-backs aren't getting blooming runs off them all the blooming match because we've actually got a midfield now. I'm not saying this is our final midfield. We need more bodies, of course. But the positioning in the midfield, the decision-making in the midfield, it's got better.
Yeah, it finally looks a bit more balanced, doesn't it, as well? Like there's finally someone on the other end of the seesaw. Like we've got a little bit of balance there. We've got less holes there. I think that's the big thing because you're right when it comes to defence and stuff. I think you take any one of our defenders, and I think if you expose them fully, then they're going to struggle against 2 or 3 players running at them. But when we've got balance in there, when the team looks like it's gelled a little bit more together, then you're right. And that midfield 3 of Bruno, Fred, and McTominay, at times they're not a flat 3. They're not even a standard 1 deep, two ahead of them. Really, at times it's a little bit lopsided, but it works. It's still got balance to it, and you can see the thought process that's gone into it on the training ground, and that's what you want to see. You want to see players filling in those spaces, and there seemed like less of them for West Ham to attack, didn't there?
Yeah. I mean, I must say, Ben, when I look at the matches now, I'm watching the matches, and I see the coaching. I see that things have been happening. I see McTominay, he's being coached. He's being coached in that position, whereas before, it didn't look like he was. I'm sure he was being coached, but the effect wasn't so stark. I'm seeing different stuff from him now. I'm seeing different stuff from different players. And you think, right, that's the training ground coming onto the field. We haven't seen this for months, or maybe longer.
Yeah, and you're right. There's still a way to go. There's still, like Ralf said,
Absolutely.
for the game to create chances and progress the ball. There's still a long way to go and levels to go above. But with McTominay and Fred, they're not falling over each other's feet at the minute like they were before. In that double pivot, we're finding that there's a bit of a even communication on the pitch and managing themselves. And if one of them's going, the other one will slot in, and you see a little bit more dynamic nature to the game as well, because Fred, you've seen him pressing and obviously and playing a lot further forward at times, and you just see a little bit of players slotting into places a lot more at the minute, I feel.
I totally agree. Who is this guy though? So we've got McTominay and McFred. So we've got two Scottish boys, have we? McFred. Did Moisey sign him as well? Was he another one of Moisey's boys?
Possibly. I mean, McFred might be long gone. You don't know.
Great stuff, mate. Look, as we say, Harry Maguire was in strongly on Bowen, and then Bruno very sharply won a free kick just on the edge of the box there on the 8th minute. You know what, Ben? An interesting stat. I believe it's the fewest goals after 21 games ever for United in the Premier League.
Oof. That is a stat and a half. I didn't even realise that was coming.
Yeah, can you believe that, eh?
I can't, mate. I can't. You've pulled that one out, haven't you?
Pretty shocking. You can fact check me on that, guys. But yeah, that's what I heard. Anyway, and then Harry Maguire again on the 14th minute, 1-on-1 with Antonio. Very strong, beautifully timed again by Maguire. Those two situations is exactly what Maguire didn't want. Right, first 20 minutes of the game, Bowen totally exposed, 1-on-1 with him, and then Antonio as well. He passed both with flying colours. Yeah,
and a lot of this is about confidence, isn't it?
It really is.
Because a defender of that quality has the ability to do that. Of course he does. I mean, you're not saying he didn't have the ability to do that at the start of the season. He didn't show it. But it's about confidence, and making them two challenges. It breeds confidence not only in himself and his own performance and knowing that he can then have the better of Antonio. I think Bowen did him once later on, didn't he? But
yeah.
It breeds confidence into the team as well. So players playing alongside him, Varane, Telles, above him, it breeds a lot of confidence when a defender makes two challenges like that. It breeds it into the rest of the team then.
It does, absolutely. And although he was isolated, still he's got a midfield that is functioning in front of him better. So again, that gives him just that extra yard, just that extra comfort in his position back there. So yeah, you're right. Confidence is a weird thing, isn't it? And obviously Maguire's was shot to bits. And you know as well as all of us listening, there are times your confidence goes and it's gone. Those are the worst ones. When you don't know it's gone, it's not so bad. When you know it's gone, and you of course you don't know how to fix it, right? So and that's been Maguire's situation. He's captain of Manchester United. His confidence is shot to bits. I'm sure he knows it's shot to bits, but there is nothing you can do apart from keep working, and then suddenly one day you think, oh God, my confidence is back, and you don't know why. So yeah. He has been stuck in that. It's such a horrible place to be, but fair play to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I saw a little bit of talk after the game as well of people saying, well, that's the least he should do. That's the bar. And yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, you don't have to say that in a negative way. That is the bar of Harry Maguire. That is his standard performance that he should be making. But you've got to go from somewhere to get somewhere. It's like us at the minute. We don't jump from where we were to then winning 6-0 every week, do we? We've got to go, and we don't go for a full press every week, as we know. Right. We've got to build these up, and it's the same with players. They've got to find the form. They don't just go from being a 4 out of 10 to a 10 out of 10 week by week. They've got to build it back up. So yeah, if he's finding confidence again, he's getting back to that place, and then he can go forward. I think what Maguire brings when he's on form as well and progressing the ball as well is something that he can definitely add to when he gets his form back as well, and that can add something different to the team again.
Yeah, you're right. Our half baby is going to be beautiful, isn't it, Ben?
Oh, absolutely, mate.
Anyway, mate, look, Bruno had a cross on the 20th minute, and actually I was shocked Ronaldo didn't get his head on that. I think he just got it wrong for some reason, didn't he? It's very un-Ronaldo-like.
Yeah, I thought you were going to see like a diving header at the time.
Oh, big time, or some kind of launched header, right? Either a massive leap or a diving header. Yeah, I thought he could have got there.
Yeah, it didn't. It just seemed a whisker, didn't it? It wasn't much at all.
Yeah, it was a weird one. And then he had a penalty shout as well, didn't he, on Kurt Zuma? What do you think of that one?
Yeah, no, I don't think it was a pen.
No.
I can see him going for it. I think if I'm Ronaldo in the same situation, I'm also going for it. You know, he gets a touch in the back as he goes towards it, but I think you put that down as maybe even clever defending. It's a bit of contact there. He's gone down, but I don't think it's enough to get a pen.
It's one of those ones that if you're not a football person, you won't understand what on earth we're talking about. But it was a foul, but not a pen, right?
Yeah,
That's what it was. Simple as that. So,
yeah,
and as we're all football people on listening to the pod, I don't think I need to explain that. But Ben, one thing I did notice, and you're talking about, we're not pressing as much as we might have liked to be pressing at this stage. But one thing I do notice, Ben, is we are out to the ball so much quicker. It's been something that has driven me insane in the last few years when, an opposition winger will get the ball and he has a few meters to spare every single time he gets the ball. It's just such a bonus for an attacking player to get the ball and be able to turn every time. And we wonder why there's shots coming from everywhere. There's crosses being slung into the box, left, right, and centre, because we don't get out to the ball. One thing I've noticed, and of course we have got different fullbacks. We have got Delo and Tellez these days, but we get out to that ball so much quicker now. We make it so much harder for them to whip a ball in. And the evidence was there. Look how many chances they had. This was the best team we've played in weeks. I know, Scott told me on the last pod, yeah, we've only been playing crap teams. That's why we're winning under Ralf or whatever. Great. This was the fourth best team in the league. We're now, if we win our game in hand, we're 3 points behind Chelsea. So basically, apart from Liverpool and City, everyone's crap then.
yeah. And it's a West Ham team that you look at the names in the lineup. It's like you've mentioned Antonio, mentioned Bowen. You talk about Rice. It's players that are in a rich vein of form that are being touted for massive moves to big clubs, especially in the sake of Rice and Bowen as well. And I think you're right. It's the fourth best team. It's a team that, look, if we'd have drew or lost, and then we're worrying about top four again. So I think it's a big game to get a hold of. And the one you were saying about getting into space and stuff and closing down players enough, it's that mixture, isn't it, between the formation looking better, which is obviously
Yeah,
down to on the training ground, and putting players in positions where you've only got to go 5 yards rather than 15 yards because you're in a better position.
exactly.
But also the sharpness of the player, the concentration
Yeah.
to always be on it.
Yeah, and also maybe the confidence in the structure to say, okay, I'm happy to charge out there, close him down, because I know my centre back's in the right position. I know I've actually got a midfield these days, so I can go, and it's not going to be the case if I get it wrong, this guy's in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, totally, mate. Look, Ronaldo was offside again on the 40th, but there was not too much to write home about in that first half again, was there, Ben?
No, there wasn't. It was moments of possession. We kept the ball a bit better. Our passing was a little bit better, I must admit, than previous weeks. But it wasn't that clear chance on goal, wasn't it? There wasn't anything beyond that first half.
Yeah, exactly, mate. And look, 0-0 at half time, but not anything to feel worried about. I didn't feel worried at that
Oh,
side. I thought we were well in the game. We know West Ham came into it, probably with better form across the season. Definitely, they're higher, but they're performing way above their station, where we're performing below our station. So there was, we did have to pay them some respect. Scott's favourite manager was coming to town, so you have to tip your hat, put out the red carpet for the ledge himself. But yeah, 0-0 half time. As always, I'll point you in the direction of our friends over at Vintage United Shirts, vintageunitedshirts.com. You can use our promo code United100 for 10% off shirts, shorts, and socks. So the old kits, basically. So if you're new to the pod, Vintage United stock old school United shirts. So all the originals and, back from the 90s, those beautiful early 90s shirts, the mid 90s shirts, the late 90s shirts, some of them a bit dodgy, but we still love them because we won loads of trophies in them as well. And then the noughties as well. Some beauties, some not so beauties, but different opinions. Me and Giles have been debating kits for a few days now. So get over there. Use Icons 100 for the artwork that they're doing now. So there's a few pieces of artwork there. You got Bex there, you got Fergie as well. But we got a cool new competition for our listeners. And basically, let me know. Send me an email, united100podcast at gmail.com. Get involved on Instagram at united100podcast. Send me a DM and just let me know which United moment you would like to be turned into artwork. There'll be 4 winners. Whoever wins will get that piece of artwork. So you tell me what piece of artwork you would like, what United moment you'd love to have on your wall. If you win, you get it. All right, so there'll be 4 winners. And what do you reckon, Ben? What would you choose? You could choose anything, any United moment. What would you choose?
Oh, I heard you and Scott trying to debate this on the pod the other day.
I'm sorry, because I was lost. I was bumbling. All I could think. I was trying to be quirky. I was trying to think of things that other people wouldn't think of, and I love Forlan, of course. Yeah, but if I had to choose one moment, of course, I'm not choosing Forlan, right?
No, I know what you mean. You want to go a bit obscure, not completely like the ones that are the everyday ones you see in Hall of Fame. I think a shout a goal, maybe Rooney. I mean, considering we're talking about West Ham, maybe Rooney at Upton Park. The hat trick.
Okay.
Upton Park.
You know what? I do remember. He got banned for swearing in the camera.
Yes. Scored the. Scored. I think that was after the pen, wasn't he? Stuck it away and then went straight to the Sky Sports camera and swore. Got banned for a game and just what that game in general. It's one of my favourites to go back and watch on YouTube and just watch the full game or the highlights, the extended highlights, and just watch it for its entirety. Just in terms of going down the bad times of going down to West Ham, the Mark Noble penalties, and then the comeback, the Wayne Rooney that was the Wayne Rooney, wasn't it? It was the guy that could take a game absolutely by the scruff of her neck and just embodied everything that was good about Wayne Rooney for United.
Yes.
A different stage of his career he could do that, and he just the way he was able to just pull us out the mud at times and get us back. And that game itself is, I think, if an isolate a game and say, obviously there's cup finals wins, Champions League wins, Premier League wins, and games that won us like trophies and titles, but that as a game, as a moment, I just really enjoy it.
Yes, Ben. Funny memories actually. I at the time I had a cheeky little United blog I was doing, and I actually, after that, I was livid, of course, because they wanted Rooney to be banned, right, for swearing into the camera.
Yeah.
And people swear every week into the camera, don't they? You hear it every week. So I sent an open letter to every newspaper in the country, and I actually I got published in the Sun. I got published. I think it was page 7. And it was me against Mark Hughes, the ex-Manchester United striker. So I was, of course, fighting for Manchester United. And old blooming Sparky Judas was fighting against Rooney. So, yeah, we had a good tete-a-tete. So, yeah, there you go, mate.
Essentially, you and Mark Hughes going in for a 50-50 then, wasn't it?
It really was. It really was. And with those blooming legs, dear me, we've both got a set on us. It might be quite a good clash.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I certainly won the debate. In a 50-50, Sparky might take me.
Yeah. You're going in just over the ball, though, aren't you? You're trying to leave one in on him.
Yeah, neither of us are pulling out. But yeah, no. so yeah, that's a nice moment, mate. Yeah, you could have the literally because he went wild, didn't he, when he buried that penalty?
Oh yeah, the fumes coming off his head. I think it was pre-hair transplant Rooney as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was drama going into that match for some reason. There was something surrounding Rooney. I seem to remember. Do you remember what it was?
Oh, I can't think of it.
I remember there was something. He was either off form or he'd been in some kind of trouble. There was something. There was some kind. The knives were out as usual, right?
Right, and that was the release.
And he basically did the bad thing, and then went, and you can all stick it where the sun doesn't shine as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was something going into that match. So nice. Yeah, absolutely. Nice moment. I like that.
Yeah, and one that, like I said, it's not one that you look back and think, oh, that's where he lifted the trophy at the end of it. But yeah, just for everything that it meant and everything that Rooney is. Yeah, I'd have a picture of an angry Rooney on my wall. Why not? There
you go. So guys, get yours in, all right? So as I say, there will be 4 winners, and it'd be pretty cool as well to win that compo. So vintageunitedshirts.com. If you want to become a member of the pod, get over to patreon.com/United100. You'll be entered into our monthly prize draw. You'll be able to get onto our Discord chat as well, where we all chinwag about United on a daily basis. Now, what I'm doing over there is we always do the correct score. So you guess your correct score and the scorers and whoever gets the score right of our members. Basically, I'm going to let them give a man of the match as well because you and Scott are so bad at it. So we need an extra man. And also they can just give a talking point or a comment on the match. So after the match, I'll let you know who the winner was and who we chose. So it's a bit more interactive with our members, Ben.
Yeah, I like it. Look, we've got a nice following, haven't we? We've got obviously on the Discord as well, and it's nice to see United fans all over the world, and we can connect on there, go through it all together, and they love it going through it on the game, don't they? So it's nice to add it to the pod as well.
Yes. Yeah, although it turns into a ghost town when we lose, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Of course it does.
In 3 days, there could be nothing, no one at all, literally all sulking, furious.
Yeah, but that's a fair reflection on actual life, isn't it?
Yeah, it is indeed. But look, the second half started and Alanga was probing from the start a couple of times. I wouldn't say he was... You expect with a young player, don't you? You expect that he's going to get highs. I thought he did his job. When he got pulled off, did you think it should be him or do you think it might have been someone else?
I mean, I expected it in a way, but because he is the young guy that's come into the team that isn't a first team regular, I think there was a little bit of that standing in it.
Yeah.
We've seen Greenwood, haven't we, come off before?
Yeah.
Before the likes of Ronaldo and stuff in previous weeks. So
and quite right too.
A little bit of that. But to be honest, I thought, like I said, he played well. I don't think he played to a standard that was like, we absolutely can't take him off. So I think it was a fair sub on reflection.
Well, what I like about Alanga is that if he's not setting the world alight, he's still holding his position and he's still working his socks off. So that will always give him second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th chances with me if you're putting in the effort. That's the main thing. We did have Bowen at that volley, didn't he, on the edge of the box on the 54th. West Ham fans thought it was in. They, of course, are up there, aren't they, over to the right of that goal. So when you're looking there, you just see the net ripple. They certainly went up, but it was it was a little bit dangerous, never going in, though.
It wasn't, but I do think I have got a little bit of the edge of the box PTSD this season from the amount of goals that we have conceded from that sort of area when it drops to a player on the edge of the box. That when it dropped, I was thinking, oh, not again. But you're right. It was. I think it was on his weaker foot one. It was never going in from that angle either.
One thing I definitely don't miss about watching games with my old man is that because I'm either sitting next to him at Old Trafford or we're on the sofa. And when like in that situation, for instance, he'd go, "Oh," and he'd grab me, and it makes me even more scared. Like so, as it leaves his foot, he'd grab my leg or grab my arm, go, "Oh," and it spins me out, mate. Honestly, or I'll go quickly to get a beer from the fridge, and he'll be like John Motson, like, "Oh," and it's like it's a corner, It's like, come on, mate.
Yeah, and you're running straight in and thinking, I've not even got my beer, and you're doing doggies then from the kitchen to
literally,
the TV.
Literally, I literally call him Motson sometimes because he's as bad as Motson with it, but he's great fun to watch it with. So, Harry Maguire picked up a booking on the 56th, and then his partner Rafael Varane. You got to score from that corner on the 58th, haven't you, Ben?
Absolutely, yeah. I thought for all the world it was finally a goal from a corner kick. It was Rafael Varane's first goal. It was also points on the board for my fantasy
Here we
team.
go.
So
Let's save that for later.
I thought it was all coming into one, and he should score, shouldn't he? Really, he did well to get there, got up, did everything right, and then just got it wrong with the actual header.
Yeah, he really should have scored. That was actually a golden chance. It really was. He had so much time. He had the opportunity to manoeuvre that ball. He had so many options. That was a bad finish. Yeah,
it really was, and it's a shame because like we've talked about our record from corners this season now, blinking pants we've been really, haven't we, with the delivery and everything, and that was just one that was just a gilt-edged chance. It should have gone in the back of the net. You can't say anything else.
Awful. Absolutely awful. And as we say, Marcus Rashford did come on for Anthony Elanga on the 62nd minute. So quite nice and early. We had a wild Bruno shot on the 64th. But we had to wait quite a while. We didn't throw the kitchen sink at them, did we, Ben?
No, we didn't. And it was that. I mean, with that Bruno shot, it was a period of we had those sort of shots from outside the box, didn't we? Where we were getting a little bit rash with it.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, Bruno had fired over again a few minutes later, and just after the 80-minute mark, we went for the double sub. So Martial and Cavani came on for Fred and Greenwood, and I have to say, Ralph's learnt very well and very, very quickly. So he complained, didn't he? He said that we ran out of energy on 70 minutes a few games ago, but he didn't make a sub, right? So everyone's going, well, there is an obvious solution to that, Ralph. Next match, we're up against Brentford 2-up, right? So it was 2-0, right? So we drew 2-2, and then Brentford 2-up, we make a defensive sub, right? Ronaldo comes off, Maguire goes on defensive sub. On Saturday, 0-0, and we end up with Martial, Cavani, Ronaldo, Rashford, and Bruno as a front five. I mean, there is not five much more attacking players that you can play than those five.
No, absolutely not. But you've got to say, yeah, like you said, he's changing things. He's learning, and that's what you want from a coach, not to be too strict.
Logic, right? You look at it and you think that's logical. What's happening? It's not like, God, why is he doing that?
No, it's changed things and changed things for the better. And yeah, all for it. All for it.
Yeah, me too. Look, so they came on and we huffed, we puffed. I mean, there wasn't really too much of a chance, was there? Until we finally broke through, Ben. Is there anything that caught your eye in that last 10 minutes?
Have we got up to the Martial chance yet?
Yes, oh God, what that was the awful touch.
The big one, wasn't it? I thought that was the one when it happened.
I could not believe how bad that touch was. It was that was almost unforgivable.
Well, when it came into him and you thought he's got the space, he's got to just turn, swivel, shoot. He could have taken a couple of touches, but just needed to be quicker. And the touch, the slowness of the turn, and I thought that was it slipping away.
It was ghastly, wasn't it? Absolutely ghastly. But with those bodies on the field, you always thought that we might break through at the end, Ben.
There was always a chance, wasn't there? Come on, it's Man United at Old Trafford. There's always a chance.
Yes, and it was the subs that linked up, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, and a move really that was not too dissimilar from was it the goal at Brentford or Villa, the Greenwood one, where Ronaldo chested it to Bruno, went through, and then
absolutely, of course, it's like a trademark goal these days.
Yeah, well, just a move that you thought that was what we were crying out for, because for the last 10, 20 minutes we were getting shots from, like you mentioned, those Bruno ones, and it was shots from outside the box and stuff that was really not really going to threaten anything at all. And just this one, just the move itself, the calmness from every single player that was on the ball to be able to make the pass, Cavani to be able to stay on side despite to the anger of literally everyone in the world, it seemed, that wanted it to be offside, to slot it across to Rashford to be the one that stuck it in. Oh, it was perfect.
And those celebrations, as you mentioned in the corner, they were top level, weren't they?
Oh, they really were.
McTominay missed the bundle, didn't he? And ended up down the tunnel somewhere.
Yeah, Dallo was.
Bruno was giving it the Stretford End roar. I mean, it was mayhem, bedlam.
It was, but that's what it's about, isn't it? That's what it is about in these sort of games. It was a big game. It was a big win and a big finish. And
yes,
look, it was perfect.
It was indeed. And I always try and be fair, and I always tend to stick up for Ronaldo. But just watch it, all right? Just watch it, Ronaldo. It's me telling you personally. I saw you at Madrid. I saw you not celebrating goals a little bit too much. And it was a little bit too casual for a 93rd minute winner. So, yeah, just watch it, Ronaldo. That's all I say.
Yeah, turn the heat up a little bit. Come on.
Definitely. But in saying that, Ben, I didn't celebrate at all.
You didn't?
Nope, I did not. I thought it was offside, mate. I thought it was offside.
Right, okay.
And I was too worried that it was too close for me to celebrate. It was too late. And I can't when I celebrate, I go absolutely crazy, Ben. I can't celebrate that crazy for like 2 minutes and then for the goal to be disallowed. It just can't happen.
No.
So I literally had my hands over my face, looking through my fingers at the celebrations, looking at everyone going mad, basically just shaking like the eruption, like a volcano ready to erupt. And I waited, and then the commentator said VAR check over, and I went absolutely insane.
Then it went off.
It went
Absolutely
absolutely off.
fantastic.
It's the weirdest celebration I've ever had in my life, mate. It was so
Yeah.
weird because I was ready, but I also knew about the. I thought Cavani might be offside. I thought Rashford might be offside too.
Yeah.
I thought he might
Yeah.
be ahead of the ball. I really did. And it was way too close for comfort. When they showed the replay, Ben, I thought, oh my God, he definitely is offside. And then they got those lines out and Fergie did it again, didn't he?
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, I must admit, real time. Yeah, I was very dubious about whether it
Oh, mate.
was onside, offside. And you're right, when the camera angles came in, the angle of the cameras made it for all in the world look like Cavani was offside when the ball came across, but timed it perfectly, didn't
Yeah. It was too much for me, mate. It was too much. Like the fact that we're basically getting back in there. It gives the team a break, Ralf a break. We're going into this 2-week break as well. There's so many reasons I can give you as to why that goal was so important. And I just, maybe people think I'm weird and fair play, no problems, I am. But I was just shaking, watching, and then just went mental. I mean, if someone had watched me watching that, they would have thought, what is this guy on? Like, he's watching football, the goal's gone in, he's not celebrating, and then he's gone wild 2 minutes later. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone wants to recreate what I can imagine you look like, just get a can of Coke or a bottle of Coke and just shake it up as much as you can, and
Yes.
then wait about 15 seconds and then open it. And I can imagine that was the scenes with you watching that.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. It was absolutely brilliant, mate. Haven't felt that nice after a United game for a long, long time.
No, and you're right though. That could be a very important goal when we look at the end of the season. Hopefully, it is. When we look back and you look back at the certain moments that make the season what it is, that could be a very pivotal part of this season.
Absolutely. In terms of bursting West Ham's bubble as well, that is another thing, right? We've given them a shot across the bows, and we put ourselves up there. We've also put the Willies up Chelsea, right? Chelsea are only a little bit ahead of us. So, and Spurs, of course, have lost now as well. Arsenal drew. So yeah, City drew. So it's not like the rest of the league are flying. And as we said before, this is a weird season. People are picking up illnesses, matches are getting suspended and whatnot. So when the sun's shining, you gotta make hay, right? And that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and I think look, the people were pointing out that I think Spurs are games hand on us and things like that. But
That's one
when
gone.
it comes down to it, exactly. And you'd rather have points on the board for one, but also we've got to play Spurs still. We
Yep.
play them, I think, in March, don't we? So we've still got to play these sides as well. And you look at the performance in the weekend from, like we say, from Spurs, from Arsenal, and well, West Ham, we beat ourselves. And we said that, didn't we? We said it last week. We said, look, it's Spurs, Arsenal, and West Ham ahead of us at the time. So we're not asking to climb a mountain. We just need to be better than those three, and that's not that hard.
Yeah, I don't know why everyone was getting so hysterical over it all. I really don't. It was bizarre. But look, mate, we got the win. We got the 3 points. We're up to fourth, and the other results mean we stay in fourth. We've actually got a game in hand on West Ham, right? So the team in fifth, we're a point ahead of, and we've got a game in hand. So West Ham are in big trouble. Spurs have got 3 games in hand on us, but we've got 2 points on them. So they're not going to win all 3. So that's fine. And then Arsenal have got 2, and they're 3 points behind. So, God, nothing to worry about, guys. Chill out.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, you look at the form of these teams, and they're not teams that are winning every week anyway. So you can't. I think the tendency is to look at sometimes game in hand, and I think we all do it at times and think, oh, that's 3 points there, 3 points there. But as we know, that's not always the case, especially with Spurs and Arsenal.
Yes, exactly. And I believe I was hearing that that we've now won more points under Ralf than we have under Ollie and Carrot put together
Oh, well, I'll go behind that stat with you, mate, because that is nice hearing that.
in less games.
Well, yeah, and that just shows you the impact, doesn't it? When it's being questioned, it's there in black and white.
Yeah, but yeah. So there you go. So I mean and it's been not just and people are saying, yeah, well, the results are a bit better or whatever, but the performances are way better. Way better, mate. As I say, we go into West Ham game, yeah, in that period where we were dying under Ollie with Bowen and Antonio and stuff. How do you think that's going to turn out, Ben? How do you think that's going to end? It's not going to end 1-0 to us. I'll tell you that for nothing.
No, absolutely. And we look more solid. We're more confident going into games, aren't we? Like we're more
In
confident,
general,
like I said,
right?
going
Yeah.
into these games and expecting a performance and expecting something. And you're right. It's a world of difference to what it was a few months back.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, mate. It is, we're moving in the right direction, certainly. Look, mate, before I give our Patreon man of the match, who's your man of the match?
Oh, do you know what? It was a difficult when I was thinking of it, and I was looking at it and thinking, well, it's got to be on the balance of performance. I thought, well, it's got to be one of the defenders.
Rashford.
I thought that, no, not Rashford, not De Gea. We're banning the goal scorer and De Gea. I've been told I can't.
You can do whatever you want.
So I was weighing it up, and do you know what? I think I'm going to give it Maguire because
Okay.
I think it's there'll be a few eyebrows raised at that, but I thought him coming into the side, I thought Varane was good. I thought the whole back four was good, to be perfectly honest. And I was weighing it up between Maguire, Varane, and Dalot. I thought they were the three of the better standout performances, and I think I just pumped for Maguire because I think he put 1 foot wrong when he got booked against Bowen, but turned out to be the right decision at the right time. And I think those early on tackles just gave us the world of confidence in defence. I thought he came back into the team. He looks good after being rested, and he's still got a bit of way to go. Some of his clearances were a little bit astray, but I think if you pick out anyone's performance on the day, apart from probably Rashford's with a goal, but I'm going on minutes here, you can probably say they could have done something slightly better or improved slightly, because I don't think we were great across the board, but I'll give him Maguire, I think, because I thought he was very assured in there, and I thought just on the balance, a reflection of how much criticism I've given him this season, I think he'll give him the man of the match.
And he did set the tone with those two early challenges. Yeah. You're right. What about your little bottle? You got a little bottle for someone?
I think I'll give the little one for Dalot, you know.
There you go. Right.
I think coming into the side, we've spoke about what he gives going forward and stuff, but I just think there's so much balance on that right-hand side now. It was a position I thought, and I'm not putting this wholly down to Wan-Bissaka, because I think the makeup of the team and the way we're possibly in formation as well, but it was very much a target, wasn't it, for the opposition?
Yes.
In those early months, very much a target, especially towards the end of Ollie's reign, where you could see every single game the wingers were targeting our fullbacks, but especially on that right hand side. I just think now you looked at that West Ham game and they weren't. I thought Dalot at times his end product could have been a little bit sharper, but I thought he was very assured. He was attacking and straight out to the ball. Every time he got the ball, he was looking to either beat a man, play a 1-2, or get a cross in. And I just think if he carries on this trajectory almost until the end of the season, I think we could see him really pinpoint that position down as his own. And I think you've got to give him credit for that, considering where he's come from.
Yeah, I mean, I said to Scott in the week that with Dalot, it's a funny one because Wan-Bissaka is regarded as the better defensive fullback. And I would agree that in terms of a one-on-one tackle, Wan-Bissaka is the better defensive fullback. But I said to Scott, and see what you think, but I think Delot's positioning, especially from crosses, and is better. I think he gets skinned. He does get skinned sometimes, but his positioning and his reading of the game, that when balls drop in the box, he's quite often there where Wan-Bissaka isn't. So if you're looking defensively, I would say he's certainly not worse than Wan-Bissaka. In fact, possibly when you add it all up, better. And then attacking wise, it's night and day. So yeah, at the moment, you would have to say he is doing everything he can to worm his way into that spot full time. Fred Rowlands is the guy actually who got he got closest to the score. He didn't actually get the score right, but I thought I was feeling generous. So he actually went big bottle to Varane, so Maguire's partner, and he went little bottle to Delot as well. So there you go. So basically, the centre backs were the boys that won it. Delot, the man helping out on the right there.
Yep, I'd agree with that. To be honest, I think that's a fair shout because I think Varane was comfortable as well. I think, and that's the thing that the whole team. I think those three especially tell us as well. Just a bit of assurance. Just how nice is it to have a clean sheet and a bit of assurance at the back.
You couldn't give it to Varane after leaving those 6 extra fantasy points on the table from that corner,
still,
could you?
Still sore, mate, from that,
Yes.
from the corner.
Listen, the other thing we're doing these days, so whoever gets the score right or closest, down to my discretion, they also get an opinion point. Question, opinion point, whatever they might say. So Fred has gone for, do you guys think that the fact Rangnick is interim manager is undermining his ability to get the players to fully buy his ideas? They might be thinking, this is all well and good, but will most likely go out the window when the next manager comes along in a few months and changes system, ideas and style of play or even personnel. So what do you reckon? Do you think that this is a problem, Ben, or not?
I don't think it's a problem. No, I think fair questions. I think it's definitely a point that you could raise that could be looked at the situation and look at the squad and look at Rangnick and his position as manager. But I think the setup, and I think it's been very clear, hasn't it, that Rangnick is the interim boss and then moves upstairs. I know he joked a little bit himself about recommended himself, didn't he, in that initial press conference? I think that was more
I think he still might go for it.
He might, but I think that's a bit more of
I would. If I could recommend myself, Ben, I mean, you're going to do it, aren't you? You go, how about Rangnick? They go, no, okay, well, I had to try.
Yeah, new improved contract, and I'll take it on a 3-year deal. And
what was Ollie on 10? Give me 12.
Yeah,
I'll take 12. No problems.
Absolutely. But no, I think you look at the setting that's the setup, so the players know that. I think there's the theory behind it, and obviously time will tell. But there is the continuation from the way we're playing this season to next season. There'll be differences, of course there will. There's obviously been reports that it's heating up the managerial search. Well, I should hope so, because it's going to be in the summer that we make the decision. And I think you won't see a drastic change in terms of the play. I think Rangnick will know that he has that in mind, but he's got a balancing act, because I think the end of the season is, there's still targets to be met. There's still top 4. There's still the cups. So literally, this is what we need. We need an FA Cup. We need a Champions League win. That's still on the board for the target. So I think the nature of who it is, I think if it would have been someone maybe that has less of an aura about them, I think Ralph's got enough about him, his presence, that when he came in and when we all saw it when he spoke to the press conferences, you can imagine what he speaks to the team about in his team meetings. You can imagine the ideas he gets across, the way he says it. I think he has that assurance from the board, and he has that weight of his words to the players. So I think I don't think there is. I think it's easy to see reports when it does go. You saw it the other week, didn't you? When
it's the paper.
When we draw or we get beat, I think everyone wants to hone in. But I think you can see from the core of the group that there's this thing that needs to be changed. There's players that need to go out the door. I think there will be players that go out the door in January, but that needs to happen for the progression of the team. So I think Ralph's remit is quite clear in that it's primarily for the next few months until the end of the season, and then after that there'll be a new man that comes in, and the continuation will be there. So no, I don't think it undermines it, because I think all the players know what the situation is.
Yeah,
and I think you've got to see where we've come from as well.
Definitely.
We've always.
I think they're buying into his ideas. I mean, at the moment, it looks like from back to front, pretty much, that the players are playing a little bit differently. So I do think they're buying into it. So yeah, I would side with you on that one, definitely. The other thing I've noticed is De Gea's form has picked up a lot, hasn't it? And I was thinking back throughout his peaks and troughs of form. And do you remember back in the Van Gaal days? I remember him saying that he loves Van Gaal's detail. And if you remember, De Gea's distribution under Van Gaal was actually really improved for a while. Do you remember? It really it really went up a level. And I'm wondering whether Rangnick seems like the same kind of manager, right? I mean, not exactly the same as Van Gaal. Definitely not as mad as King Louis. That's one thing for sure. But in terms of, the structures, the technical side of the game, I am seeing it. Even from De Gea, I'm seeing that he is, of course, he's keeping better, but I think his distribution is looking a bit different. McTominay looked like a totally different player. The style, what he was doing at the weekend was totally different to what he was doing before. It was, and for the last couple of games, really. So, no, I think I know what Fred's saying, and I think that sometimes, of course, an interim manager is not going to hold that status, but Rangnick has got the history, and also we're Man United, and so the players know full well that if they don't put in the effort, there is going to be a new manager. So even the ones who maybe the heart isn't in the right place, they know selfishly they have got to perform anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we'll see that, won't we, from now until the end of the season, which players will be worth the course and which won't be.
Yeah. And the great thing is that the manager doesn't have to carry the can for that. Rangnick can take all those hits. We get a new manager in and goes, well, it wasn't me. That was Ralf. So that's another great thing, right? You can be a lot more harsh, a lot more cutthroat, and just say, well, I'm gone in the summer anyway, so bad luck, lads.
Yeah, and set it up for the next man. Absolutely. I think that's the remit he's got. That's what he's... I think as well, like, there might have been a period after Ollie before Rangnick properly got into it where you could have questioned whether the players will fully form the ideas. What will they be the makeup of the squad? What's their feeling around the squad? But I think now you can see the results are coming. The performances are coming. And like you said, the players seem to be... Well, a lot of the players en masse seem to be enjoying it and seem to be getting the best. I mean, take Bruno for an example. Bruno, the past couple of games, is back to playing really, really... I won't say his best football because I think we've seen his best football and I think he's still got gears to go up, but he's playing really good football again, and Rangnick's put him in a position now where he can be the heartbeat of the team again. And that's I think that's the good thing about Ralf, is I think he's flexible. And I think in a way that is still holds weight. You know, when he wants to make a decision, he'll make it, and he'll not be afraid to annoy some players if he needs be, or upset them when needs be. But he's willing to learn as well, and I think that is the key.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're a bit ambitious, Ben. Though you're talking about January. You do realise it's the last week of January already, don't you?
What, in terms of players going out?
Well, I mean, we've got 1 week to go, mate.
I think I will not be surprised if the likes of Martial and Lingard still go out the door. You know,
I hope so. So, but I mean, how's about getting someone in as well?
Well, that's a different question altogether. But absolutely,
I tell you what, Ben, it winds me up so much. The Lingard situation, particularly, right? He can literally sign for a new club now. He can sign for a new club outside England now.
Yeah.
Right. And it was the most obvious thing that I've ever known. You know, we all get things right, we all get things wrong, some more than others. But how many of you guys thought it was not a good idea to sell Lingard when his price was at the highest it's ever going to be? We got lucky on the fact that he went to West Ham on loan and set the world alight. Yeah. How on earth, how did we not get the money for him last summer and free up the wages? We paid him for half a year now. Yeah. It is, and he hasn't. Well, Ollie brought him on a few times at the beginning of the season. Remember, he's played a few times, but he's done absolutely nothing.
Oh, a massive failure. We were saying it last summer, weren't we? The two options were, and it was both to West Ham. It was selling for 30, 40 million and get that for a player with 1 year on his contract, or try and make him a make weight for a deal for Declan Rice. They were the two glaringly obvious things. And, you know, we haven't mentioned him, but we saw the performance that Declan Rice put in against us. I thought he was fantastic, to be honest.
And he loves playing at Old Trafford.
He loves playing against Old Trafford. You saw him after the game saying that, and it was there for the taking, wasn't it, in the summer?
It was. And we have so many of them as well. And let's take Paul Pogba, you know? Paul Pogba, we could have got so much money for him. We should have sold him when he was in Japan, right? That summer when he went to Japan and went to that Adidas thing and said it's time for a new challenge. We should have said, yeah, great. There's your new challenge. Give us our cash. Get out. Because from that moment, I said to Scott on the pod, I said, he's going to stink the place out. He'll be injured. He won't be playing. He'll stink the place out. And we will end up not getting as much money for him. He's done nothing since then. And we're going to end up losing him for nothing. Or we're going to hand him an absolute whopper contract, which is one of the reasons why the club's in such blooming struggles at the moment, because we've handed out whopper contracts to whoppers.
Yeah, absolutely. Whoppers all over the place, wasn't it? And you're right. So I don't know. Let's. You say there's only a week left. Let's see if it's. If I was going to predict it, I'd say it'd be busier outgoings than any incomings. But
if I had to predict it, I'd say no ins, no outs.
Would you?
I don't know, mate. I just forgot the window was open. Like, there's been such a. I haven't heard one rumor apart from Haidara.
Yeah,
and that was in December, and then that went quiet. Apparently, they said the rumor was that Rangnick's been told he has to shift some players before he gets Haidara in. I would have turned around and said, I have to shift players. You've been here for years, making the biggest collection of trash I've ever seen in my life, and you want me to blooming rebuild your team, take over from a team that's losing 4 or 5-0 every week, make a new system, and you want me to flog some blooming dead wood that's on 200 grand a week? Get out of town. Get me Haidara. Get me him yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. He shouldn't be one trying to take out the bin, should he?
Well, mate, I couldn't believe my ears and eyes of that. But look, mate, really nice to get that win. We go into this break. It was a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Let's continue the positivity and have a wee chat about fantasy this week, shall we, Fal?
Yeah, let's go for it, because I think, I don't know actual statistically, but I think it might be the lowest scoring fantasy weekend that I've ever known.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's my lowest week. That's one thing for sure. It is, I mean, luckily for me, it is low across the board because I had a pretty bad Friday night, didn't I, pal?
Yeah, you went all in on the captain, Dennis, didn't you?
Dennis the Menace. Yeah, mate. And actually, it was that Friday night, blooming Friday afternoon captaincy thing again. The week before, you had me with a Bruno thing, right? I had a Bruno and a switch to Ronaldo, and then this week I was there waiting, and of course the double game week came up, right? So I was thinking, right, the double game week, Dennis. Who's he got? Norwich and someone else, Bobbins. Burnley?
Yeah, Burnley. Yeah.
And I thought, right, it's got to be Dennis. And you know what? When I was picking him, I was thinking, right, this is great. Because even if he blanks tonight, then we've got the weekend. And then it's 2 weeks later, right? And then I've got like a free hit. So this is not going to be over for 2 weeks. So I'm going to be feeling good about this for 2 weeks. So I was all ready for it in this way, as I say. And... oh, mate! And also, so an hour before the deadline, I found some information leaked from Vicarage Road that Dennis had COVID and he was out, right? And so I was like, oh my god, what do I do? And then I was looking like, does anyone trust this Twitter this account? And everyone said, oh no, he's a nonsense talker. And so I was literally on the verge of taking Dennis off captain, right? Because I thought he was going to be out. But I thought, right, now leave him in. It's a nonsense account. So I left him in. So there was this toing and froing. And then, as we all know, Dennis the Menace went and got a big red, didn't he? Which, when you have him as captain, you get double minus points. So I started Saturday on -2, Ben.
It's not a great start, is it?
But so bad.
I think, saved by the fact that it was a low scoring week. I thought off the back of my Bruno captain, I thought I'd made another genius transfer in, and I captained Sterling, didn't I? And then that went to pieces as well. So it wasn't...
I relished that. I was, especially as I had brought Laporte in, right, who saved the day.
Yeah,
without Laporte, mate, I was on 15 this week, right? I mean, if Laporte had got a 2, I would have been on 17. So, yeah, luckily, Fred actually, that blooming man of the match man, he's top of the league. So, I think he's got even less than me.
Although I do still have Josh King to play, so that is still a sneaky little Josh King hat trick will go down nicely against Burnley, and that'll be me sorted.
2 weeks to go though. There's a lot that can happen. There's pandemic. He's got a holiday. I wouldn't like to wish it on anyone. But yeah, it's that King, that Josh King. Oh mate, I couldn't believe it. I could not. I was thinking, oh god, he's blanked. That's bad. Yellow cards. I've got 1 point. I'm thinking, don't worry about it. He's going to bag. He's going to go wild against Burnley, everything's going to be okay. And then red card, literally game over. It was, mate, it was peak. That is peak FPL. I think that's what the youngsters say these days, right? It's just that is FPL in a nutshell. That Dennis thing, especially getting the warning about the captain, because I could have switched it, right? I could have switched it. I would have got team news, and then I would have been like, no, he is playing. And then I'd be like, yes, I left him out. So it's always the way, mate. So, and then last night I looked at my team. I thought, okay, who else have I got left to play? No one.
That's it.
that is literally it. That's all she wrote. Yeah. So, yeah, I wish Josh King all the best.
Don't we all?
And I'm hoping Ben Foster gets off the bench, because I've seen that many people left David De Gea out and put Ben Foster in. So serves you right.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I was quite glad about the Varane clean sheet. Brought him in, but obviously it could have been a lot more if they'd stuck it in. But
yeah,
we move on, don't we?
When that was the only saving grace when Varane missed that chance. I was furious. Then a minute later, I was like, at least that bugger Ben missed out on 6 points and probably an extra 3. So,
terrible, absolutely terrible.
But yeah, mate. So you gained a little bit. You're right up top behind me, aren't you?
Yeah, but I'm being chased hot on my heels as well. So it's
I tell you what, that top 6 is getting pretty compact, isn't it?
It's really, really tight up there, yeah. So it's you have a good week or a bad week, and you're looking up, down, everywhere. So it's it's tight at the top.
And the other thing I was thinking is, it was possible, right? Everyone's got a week off this week. You would have thought they'd be trying to catch up some games. Why aren't they? Isn't that mental? Right?
Yeah,
they've got a mid-season break, but we've all had our mid-season break already, haven't we? We've all been at home for weeks. Like there's been loads of matches missed. Surely that was the decision there is like, okay, we're not having a week off here. Everybody catches up a game. I mean, I couldn't believe they're not doing that.
No, because I thought there was rumours of a potential Villa double game week at one point.
Yeah.
Which I was almost swiftly changing to captain Ollie Watkins. But yeah, you're right. It seems strange, because I was looking sort of last week and I'm thinking, hang on, is there international fixtures and then all of a sudden just realised it's a break. But yeah, no idea why some of the teams aren't getting the rearranged games back on this week.
Yeah, you would have thought, right? You stretch it out and then hope that hope you don't have congestion at the end of the season.
Yeah, because hopefully now all fingers crossed, there won't be as many, or if any, games postponed and people pulling out and all that sort of stuff now.
Yeah. Yes, mate. Well, as we say, we have got a couple of week break, but I believe Richard Arnold's meant to be taken over from Ed Woodward, isn't he? On the 1st of February, I think it is.
Yeah, if he's got off the phone to Gary Neville, yeah, he might be.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Shots fired.
Well, it's come out, hasn't he, that he's been on the blower to the United old boys, Neville being one of them, to, I don't know what to try and do to sound out something or other, but a little bit of a strange one that came out today, wasn't it?
We've been pretty critical. He can give us a call if he wants.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't mind.
If he's canvassing an opinion, then he's welcome on the pod.
Been quite critical, and we talk more sense than Gary Neville, so that's fine. But yeah, so he's meant to be being unveiled on the 1st of February. And I have said before, I would like to see the club move in a different direction, a bit more transparency, and I'd like to hear from him. I'd like to hear his vision. So we will see. Hopefully, he will announce what his vision is, and we can give you some kind of pod as a reaction to that. I have actually been working on a Glazer pod for a long while now. I've been gathering information and little bits and bobs as the months go by. I've been doing it for quite a while, so it's possible if he doesn't say anything, I might just whack him with a big old Glazer pod sometime in the next week or so as well. I'm not sure it's going to be ready, but I'll keep you updated anyway. I'll keep you updated on Instagram stories as to what we will do. But yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Ed Woodward, he's not making the most of his last transfer window. I thought he'd want to go out with a bang, Ben. I thought he'd want to try and sign Messi or something.
Yeah, well, who knows with that lad. I love that you call out to Richard Arnold, the proper sort of WWE call out. That wasn't it either. Come out and do your interview and speak for yourself, or else the Glazer pod's getting dropped.
You know it. Yeah, big time.
A big tease on that one, wasn't it? To see whether Whether he turns up or not, you'll be waiting in the middle of the ring, won't you?
You know I will, mate. I will, like Francis Ngannou. That's what I'll be like. Anything else to add, mate?
No, nothing from me. Just happy that United have made the weekend and into the week now.
God, it's lovely doing the pod when we win, isn't it?
Oh, it makes everything a little bit more bright, doesn't it?
Good. Absolutely fantastic. Anyway, thanks for joining us again, everyone. If you're new to the pod, hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you're old to the pod and haven't subscribed yet, what you're waiting for, hit that button. And of course, get on those 5-star reviews as well. 5-star on Spotify, 5-star on Apple Podcasts. Leave us a review to go with the 5 stars on Apple. On Spotify, you just whack the 5 stars. Follow our Instagram at United100 Podcast and our Twitter at United100 Pod. As I say, if you do have your favourite United moment that you would like to be turned into artwork, buy Vintage United shirts, DM me, send me an email, United100podcast at gmail.com, and just let me know what your choice is. Your favourite moment. Ben, you send yours over later. And me and Giles will get them all together, and we will have, as I say, 4 winners for you. You'll all get the artwork of your choice. As always, use the promo code United100, 10% off shirts, icons 100, 20% off artwork. If you want to become a member, patreon.com/United100. You get on our Discord. You'll have your chance to give your man of the match. And you know, you can always, if you're a member as well, give a question or a talking point to us as well. Get on our Discord where we have a good old chat and a laugh, and the competitions too. We will be back sometime in the next week or so. Of course, we don't have a game for a little while, but I'll keep an eye on what's going on at the top of the club, and I might just smack them with that Glazer pod. You never know.
At the last minute, you'll be waiting, won't you, for it's either interview or bust for Richard Arnold.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. I'll give him a chance. Give everyone a chance. But mate, absolutely glorious to chat to you today and chat about a proper United win. 93rd minute, Stretford End, United born and bred. You beauty.
Oh, you beauty. Yeah, nice one, guys. Speak soon.
Lovely chat to you, mate. Take care. Cheerio, Reds.